Hi, this is part 2 of running with asthma. I just wanted to add a bit about spacers that to actually take in the anti-asthmatic medications, and also peak flow meters to be able to monitor how you're doing. So the peak flow meter goes from a scale to about 1 to 700 or so. And if you're a very light frame and small lungs like I am, 5'7.5", 5'8", my peak flow after a run is 350. But if you were a very large person, you know, a Goliath, maybe 6 foot, 7 foot, whatever it might be, your peak flow might well be up to 700, simply because your lungs are larger and the muscles are stronger, pushing out the air much quicker. It matters not. The peak flow meter is just to measure how good and how bad your lung capacity is, your breathing capacity at any time. So if I've got a mild asthma due to a chest infection or something, my peak flow might be down to around 200 to 250. Even though I might not need to take any reliever, simply because of my general fitness, doesn't affect me, how I feel. I just have a low peak flow because of my chest infection, usually after a bad cold. The spacer I take with my reliever if I ever need it, but certainly with my preventer, what we call that, the steroid, the clenomodulate, I always use the spacer, because when you squirt that pressurized canister into that space, it just sort of circulates around in that chamber, and you can breathe in all that medication gas, as it were, very easily. Whilst if you squirt it straight into your mouth when you breathe in, half of it lands at the back of your throat. So you're not getting a full dose. So that's important. The other thing is, when running, for me, after run, as I said, my peak flow is about 350. And generally during the daytime, it might be slightly under or around about 350. That's with taking the steroid. Now, if I finish my run and I take a reliever, not that I need a reliever, I don't feel asthmatic, I'm not any sound, I don't feel uncomfortable, I feel relaxed, good tidal volume of lungs, good deep breathing. If I took a reliever, Salbutamol, my peak flow would increase to about 400, or fractionally over. So the reliever is there to increase your lung capacity, but oftentimes when you become fitter, you won't be aware of the need of having it, and you won't need to take it. But just a passing comment, really, that taking a reliever after a run, even though you don't need it, even though you don't feel asthmatic, even though you're very relaxed and breathing deeply, still will increase your breathing capacity about 50 points, which is interesting. But generally speaking, when I'm running, the steroid does the job. I tried experimenting, taking a reliever during a run to see if it improved my performance, and it made no difference whatsoever. In other words, the steroid is doing its job very, very well. It's when you stop and everything sort of calms down, that's when perhaps for a slight moment of time, your breathing capacity is slightly less, even though you don't feel it, simply because you've been exercising. But that's not a problem. So yeah, I mean, I would get hold of a peak flow meter. They're not expensive, and just monitor your breathing. See what you're like before you go for a run, maybe. See what you're like after a run. Analyze yourself and see whether you need to take any steroids or any relievers, and see what the difference is between taking a reliever or the difference between taking a steroid over a number of weeks, and you'll know then what's best for you as regards running with asthma. So I hope that helps you and may encourage you.